So my friends, this is the AWOL Vision LTV-3000 Pro. It's the new upgrade from AWOL Vision this year. It includes features like Dolby Vision, and it still delivers an amazing picture. The detail level and the contrast level is exceptional. Let's take a closer look. Don't forget to hit the red button to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up and click the notification bell to get my next video first. So last year I got to check out an AWOL Vision product for the first time, and I have to say I was really impressed. This year I'm taking a look at the LTV-3000 Pro. This is the Dolby Vision version, and I'm really excited to look at it. Now, included within the box, not only do you get your normal cables and manual, but there is also a Fire TV Stick Max. Now, AWOL Vision was formed in Miami in 2020, and this is really their second major year of product releases. After the success of last year's models, they've upgraded now to Dolby Vision, and the model that they produce now, although very similar to last year's design, I think with that extra matte black finish, it just elevates it to another level. It feels, I don't know, a little bit more classier than the ones previously. I really like the futuristic design. I think it looks neat, simple. The clean lines are really impressive, and I'm sure this is going to look good on pretty much any surface. Okay, so if we have a look at the back of the projector, you'll see that most of your connections are there. There's two HDMI ports visibly from the back, and you've also got your audio output, your USB, and your power. As well as having Ethernet, optical audio, there's also an AV in for your composite devices. This is a nice touch, and you don't see this very often. There's also a second USB port on the side, which again is a nice feature. Okay, for the streaming stick, there is a little port on the back which just pushes open, and then the flap will remove, and then you've got your area to put your HDMI port, which is HDMI 1, and now you can put your Fire Stick straight in, connect it to the power, and then you're ready to go. Now, there is a little bit of extra space in there, so you might get a different type of device in there, a different make of stick, but I can't confirm that. The remote seems to be the same as last year's, which is fine. Last year's was great, and this year's in operation feels really nice, and everything is in the right place and very easy to use. Okay, so this projector sits just a few inches away from the wall, and it's super quiet. I was getting a reading without it being on of around 32 decibels. I turned it on, it went up to around 72, but then immediately dropped right down again to around 34, 35. So the image size is determined by how far away from the wall the projector will sit. To get an 80-inch image, you need to be 6 inches away, 109.8, and it will go up as high as 150 inches, and that will give you 20.2 inches away from the wall. So for me, I've got this projecting onto a 100-inch screen, and so therefore I'm around 9.5 to 10 inches away. It is also determined by how high you have the projector, so bear that in mind also. But there's also things like sliders that you can get for perfect positioning. Right, when you turn this projector on in the middle of the day, you'll be impressed by the brightness. This has peak lumens of 3000, and it really is pretty impressive. It gives you a bright white screen, and then you get the starting animation. One key feature that I really like is the fact that you can boot into any HDMI source with the CEC compatibility. So that means that in my case here, I've got it booting straight into the Fire Stick that's plugged into the back of the projector. But if you've got something else like a satellite box, a cable box, or an Apple TV, for instance, you can choose that. You'll be pleased to hear that there is a source button on the controller, and so therefore you can easily switch between different sources. But what this does mean is there isn't really a software option on the projector itself. In fact, it is pretty basic. So if you didn't boot into an HDMI port, then this is the screen that you'll get. And I don't mind this at all. I'm quite happy to have it boot straight into an HDMI device. From this screen, you can still access all of your functions and all of the settings of the projector as you can with any of the other HDMI ports. Now, I'd much rather have my own choice of booting into a device rather than a very misfunctioning and half-hearted attempt at a software system. Fine if you've got Android TV, but there's so many manufacturers out there that have things like Aptoid Store and things like that, and I just don't think that that does anything for the brand, and it doesn't do anything for the customer experience. So well done to AWOL Vision for just having something very simple. Now I've hooked up my satellite box so that you can see what it looks like during the day, and again it's incredibly bright. The blind is wide open. Now if I demonstrate that brightness to you, you can see it's in the middle of the day, it's around 11 o'clock in the morning, I've got the blind right open, and it's incredible the brightness that this projector is producing. So if you are in any doubt at all whether you can use this during the day, you definitely can, and it's very, very watchable. But as we all know, it's at night that projectors come into their own. Now, the room doesn't have to be really, really dark, but you do get the best possible image. Any screen flickering that you're seeing on the screen is just from camera frequency. You don't see that in reality. But the picture is just incredibly bright and incredibly detailed. The focus in all four corners is crystal clear and sharp, and I think it delivers a very natural and well-balanced picture. The colours on the projector are very realistic. I had mine in user mode and I did make some tweaks to it to get the best possible image, but it does cover 107% of the Rec 2020 colour gamut, and that's in SDR and HDR, and the detail level is superb. With these triple laser projectors, they really do offer just the most incredible balance of image, and I think the sharpness is absolutely stunning. Now, I really believe that if you're paying this type of money for a projector, then it really should be able to replace your TV, both in day situations and also at night. And it means that it doesn't matter whether you're putting SDR, HDR, Dolby Vision content through it, it's got to deliver a good job. And I think that they've nailed it with the AWOL Vision LTV-3000 Pro. It really does an incredible job no matter what you're playing through it. So the next scene that you'll see is just some random adverts, and again, everything looks natural, well balanced, the colors are great, the saturation, this particular advert, the saturation is up anyway, but it looks really, really impressive. Now, I mentioned at the beginning that this has Dolby Vision support, but it also has support for other features too. 24 frames per second, so movies will look great on this, and also MEMC, which is Motion Enhancement Motion Compensation. This is where extra frames can be inserted, particularly in sports, to give you a smoother motion, and you can adjust that to low, medium, high, or off. I found low settings on that were probably the best on this projector. Another improvement on this projector is gaming. Now, I love gaming on a large screen, I think it's brilliant, but some people have moaned about input lag. Well, for this year, the input lag has been dramatically improved. You can now get as low as 15 milliseconds in 4K at 60Hz, or an incredible 8 milliseconds at 120Hz in 1080p. You do need to have it in HDR game mode, and to get the lowest input lags, you will need to put it into turbo mode. And that does affect the keystone correction, so therefore you'll have to have the projector more in the right position if you're using a screen, or directly against a wall, and it won't make any difference at all. But I found that gaming was incredibly fun. I loved the picture quality, response times were amazing, and I just had a really immersive experience. The other thing that I've been really impressed with right across the board with this projector is the black levels. Contrast has been raised to 2,500 to 1, and it shows in every detail. You can see the stars in the sky, but the rest of the sky still looks black. It doesn't look grey, it doesn't look just a murky black, it looks pitch black. Making adjustments with this projector is super simple to do. There's manual keystone correction, where you've got 8-point keystone where you can drag the four corners of the screen to different areas, and you also have electronic focus, where you just press up and down on the controller to get the best possible focus. Now, if you really want to go into detail to change things like the colors and the gamut and the hues, then you can do that easily. You have your standard modes like standard, vivid, sport, movie, and game, but you also have user, and here you can go in and make tweaks to your heart's content. The LTV-3000 Pro has a fully customizable color management system both for SDR and HDR content. You can go in and pretty much change everything from brightness, contrast, chroma and tone to a full color management system, as well as making super detailed adjustments to your white balance. So hopefully you'll be able to get exactly the type of picture you want. Whether it be the most accurate or not is down to you to choose, but hopefully you'll get an incredible image, and it doesn't matter whether it's in SDR or in HDR content. I think the two things that have impressed me the most about this projector are the black levels and also the detail. It really is incredibly sharp, and the contrast between the blacks and the lights are just breathtaking. And when I zoom in on this freeze frame, you can see the incredible level of detail. It really is incredibly impressive. One of the reasons for this extra sharpness is the Ricoh f2.0 aperture lens. Now, this contributes by delivering the sharpest possible image. This gives you a larger laser outlet, which is over 2 times bigger than some other brands. Additionally, if you are going for the LTV-3500 Pro, then a new firmware update is going to give you a remarkable 2.5 times contrast ratio improvement. This eliminates the customary compromise between image sharpness and contrast. Now, fans of 3D movies will be pleased to hear that this does have full 3D support. It's full active 3D capability with active DLP 3D, and that supports frame packing, side-by-side, top-bottom format, and it will work with DLP-linked active shutter 3D glasses. Now, these can be available from AWOL Vision, but you do have to purchase these separately. Another feature which I can't show you today is the Smart Room Ready. This is going to be an update which is going to come later in September 2023, and it will make it fully functional with your smart home devices. But overall, what I would say, it doesn't matter what you're playing through this projector, everything just looks incredible. Dolby Vision content is beautiful, but also so is standard definition TV. SDR content and HDR content really does pop off the screen. And the thing that I really like is the fact that you can play this pretty much in any setting. It doesn't matter whether it's ambient light or a really dark room, you're going to get an incredible experience. Now, if you are looking for something even brighter, there is an LTV-3500 Pro, which is all of the same features that we've talked about today, but it does give you an extra 500 lumens of peak brightness. So that's one to check out as well. So my friends, this is the AWOL Vision LTV-3000 Pro. I'll leave links in the description so that you can check it out for yourself, but I have been so impressed with this machine. Now, this really does need to be one of your considerations if you're looking at taking your home cinema setup to the next level. Thank you so much, my friends, for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next.